Morning folks, and welcome back. This week I'm back on the Peddars Way. I've started where I left off from last time in Acre, which is the halfway point along the Peddars Way. There's about 22 miles left to go, and I'm going to do it over 2 days this time. I'm planning on wild camping tonight. I've brought my hammock with me. The forecast isn't looking great. Beginning of the week I checked the weather and it was looking all clear for this weekend, so I planned it, and that's changed. We're supposed to have heavy rain this afternoon. So I'm going to use my big camera while I can, but I'll probably have to switch to the GoPro later on, if this weather does come in. So the first leg out of the village is a bit of a slog. It follows the road north out of the village for about 3 or 4 miles, so you just have to bear with that bit. It does get better, but yeah. It's quiet today, luckily. It's Saturday, there's not a lot of traffic. It's quite early in the morning, so fingers crossed at least I won't have loads of traffic thundering past me. Well, thankfully we've just left the road. That was quite a slog coming up from Acre. The first bit of it is on the other side of the hedge, so you're walking along next to the road but on grass at least, but then you hit some cottages and the path just leads you onto the road, and the last bit is on the road, but it is a long trudge. So I'm really pleased to get off the road. You'll notice when you leave the road there where the path starts, there's an Ordnance Survey Trig point, and that Trig point marks one of the highest points on the trail, a dizzying 92 metres above sea level. Norfolk's not a particularly high place, it's a very flat county. Yeah, 92 metres is about as high as it gets. I'm going to stop here for a little break. I've been walking for quite a few hours and I'm getting a bit peckish and I need a drink of water. So I'm going to stop here by this amazing ash tree, which has got a big crack down it and it's completely hollow inside. Now, one of the things worth noting is that on this leg of the Peddars Way, water sources are a bit more scarce. You don't go through quite so many villages. Near where I'm planning on camping tonight, I know there's a small stream there that I'll hopefully be able to collect water from. But until there's very limited sources of water. Now, to cut down on weight, I only wanted to bring one water bottle with me, which I have. I filled up a litre water bottle this morning and that's all the water I've got. So what I've done is I've brought a water filter with me as well, so that any water I do come across, I can at least filter and purify. This is the filter I've got. It's a new filter. This is one that's been sent to me for me to try out, and this is going to be its first proper test. You know, I had to go with it at home just using tap water just to make sure everything worked and to familiarise myself with the pump and everything. So I've just filled this up with water from that irrigation cistern, and I can pump this out and pump it through the filter a little bit later on when I need it. Okay, but this will hold about half a litre. So I've now got another half a litre in addition to the litre I had, which is good. I think, to be honest, today I'm just going to have to seize any opportunity there is to grab water and refill my water bottle as I go along. These big farmers' water tanks are quite a good source of water. I'm lucky enough that this one has developed a leak, so I was just able to hold my bottle underneath it and it just dripped in. If you're walking this section from Castle Acre, I'd strongly advise you to stock up in Castle Acre. There's a shop there that's open from about 6 o'clock in the morning. And obviously they sell everything, so get all the drinks and snacks and things you need for this leg in Castle Acre. Here we've got the fourth of the Norfolk songlines. You find these dotted along the Peddars Way and they have an inscription on them. This one reads, "From Blackwater Car to Seagate, since the plough first broke the bread of land, pilots and pieces, plots and pastures, to every man his stony acre." Well, the terrain's really starting to become a bit hillier now. We've got these sort of rolling hills as you get up towards the coast, and doesn't look like much, but that's been quite a long sort of 3/4 mile trudge uphill there. Surprisingly tiring. And that's the way we're going. I'm going to stop shortly for some lunch. It's gone 12 now, it's probably about 12:15. I'm starting to flag a little bit. I'm going to get towards the top of this hill, and find a spot to stop and have some lunch. Well, this place looked as good a place as any to stop. I'm going to have a cooked lunch. I kind of did that really just to save on weight. I could then bring something dehydrated. So I've got instant noodles and a tin of sardines to go in them. Now I'm going to use a new stove today. It's not new, but it was sent to me by a subscriber. Very kindly sent me actually 2 of these, this one and a bigger one. And this is a Mini Bull Designs pop can stove. Wound around the outside, it's got some kind of thin fire rope type stuff, which absorbs some of the methylated spirits as well. And that's then your primer. So you light it and the whole thing burns because you've got methylated spirits soaked into that string as well. And that primes it, and then your flames come out of the inside. Works really well. I've tried this out. I thought that would be the ideal stove to bring with me. You know, it weighs nothing, it's aluminium, it's really lightweight. And then I just needed to bring a container of methylated spirits with me to last the trip. I'm doing all that in the honey stove, so I have got the means to use it as a twig stove as well. I'm not just relying on methylated spirits. But I knew there was going to be rain coming in, heavy rain this afternoon. And, you know, it saves me having to worry about finding dry twigs. Plus I'm wild camping tonight, and you know, stealth is going to be the key. So it's a lot easier to be stealthy when you haven't got twigs burning and giving off smoke and giving your position away. So thanks Koigak for the stoves, really appreciate it. I absolutely love them. I'm looking forward to using them properly on this trip. So there we go, we've got a boil already, look. That's probably been about 3 minutes. But these stoves are really super efficient. So he also sent me a load of other goodies for my hammock, which I've also brought with me. So I've got a whole load of new stuff to try out on this trip, which is really exciting. You're an absolute top bloke. Cheers. I don't want to waste any of my water on washing this up. It's all going down the same way, so the drink's going in. Cheers. Whoa. That is vile. It just tastes of artificial sweetener. And curry. Ugh. The other thing I want to do before I head off again is I just want to transfer the water that I put in here from that irrigation tank. I want to filter it and put it back into my bottle, because obviously I've just used a whole load of water at lunch for the noodles and for my drink. So I need to then replenish this. Now, this is made by Lifesaver. It's called their Liberty bottle, and it's quite a good system. It's quite bulky, but it's quite a good system in that you can just scoop water straight up into it and store it in there, and then pump it out and filter it as and when you need it, or you can drink straight from it. You can pump straight and drink from it, and it's a pressurized system. So you have a pump on the bottom which builds up pressure inside this reservoir, and then that pressure forces the water out through the filter and then filters it. You see what I mean? So you can do it that way, or you can use a scavenger hose, which I have with it, a tube which goes on here, which you just put into some water, into your water source, and then you just pump it like you would a regular filter. So it's quite a good system. I like the fact that you can store the water in there. I also like the fact that it's designed so that it will screw onto a Nalgene bottle. So when you're using it with the scavenger tube, there's a little release valve on the side there, and that basically releases the flow. So if you've just got your hose into your water source, you can just pump away with that valve open. But if you want to use it as a bottle, you keep that closed, and then you release the pump at the top there, and you pump it 2 or 3 times, and that builds up pressure inside the reservoir. And then when you release it, that pressure should force the water out, like it is there, you see. And it works best when it's full. Okay, so as it empties out, the rate becomes less, and you just keep pumping it to keep that flow rate going. So just the odd pump just to keep the flow going is all you need to do. But yeah, it's not a bad system really. It's a bit bulky, like I said. It's bigger than a lot of the ones that you can get now. You know, Sawyer do that little tiny one with the bag. There's quite a few other smaller ones available on the market, so it's a bit bigger compared to some, but it's still not bad. And they claim that it removes, you know, 99.99% of all viruses, cysts, bacteria, and whatnot. Okay, we're nearly there. We've nearly done half a litre. There you go. Just close that valve off. So yeah, not a bad system really. Right, press on. And then here, just next to the path, we've got a tumulus. That's a Bronze Age burial mound, probably, well, nearly 2,000 years BC, so it's about 4,000 years old, I should think. And then over in the distance, there's another one, just over there. Keep the camera steady enough to focus. Now, there's quite a few of these dotted about in this area, which suggests that it was quite an important area in the Bronze Age. There would have been important people buried in a tumulus, that's for sure. It wouldn't have just been your average Joe. They would have been important people, chiefs or kings and queens. So, and there's quite a few of them dotted about. And we got another one just here, even better than the other two. Amazing. So that's 3 in the space of about, I don't know, 500 meters, I should think. 4,000 years old. I mentioned this in my last video, all the way along the Peddars Way, where you pass by villages, there are these signposts which tell you whether there's accommodation or places to get food and drink and things close by. Another marl pit over there, and there as well. Well, it's been threatening rain all day, and it hasn't really amounted to much so far. I've been very fortunate considering it was supposed to start raining at about 11 this morning, and it's now 4:15. So I've done pretty well, but it is just starting to get a bit heavier, and it's looking like it's gonna start meaning it soon. There's some bigger, darker clouds with that sort of raggedy bottom to them, which usually means a bit of moisture. So I'm not going to take any chances. I've just had to stop to change the battery in my GoPro, so I thought I might as well put my coat on while I'm at it. Just behind me is the village of Fring. It'll be on your right hand side as you travel north on the Peddars way. It doesn't offer very much in the way of services or anything like that. There's a church, and I think there's probably a public telephone, that's about it. But if you go on a couple more miles, on the left hand side there's a road that will take you into the village of Sedgeford, where there's accommodation and a pub. Well, it's 4:30 and I am knackered. I found a little bit of woodland alongside the path, which I've just ducked into, and it's all quiet, it's all nice. There's a road about 200 yards away, but it's on the other side of a hedge, and where I am, it's pretty sheltered actually. I think this is going to be a perfect place for tonight. I've got a bit of cover. That rain never materialised really. Yeah, I've been very lucky. It was supposed to pee it down all afternoon. So yeah, I've been very lucky with the weather. And I've got here and I'm going to be able to set up before the weather sets in, if it does. So that's good. I've got a bit of shelter, but what I haven't got is water. I set off with a litre this morning. And I filled up half a litre from that tank up on the fields, and that's it. I've got through all that. I've got probably, I don't know, 100 mils left in my bottle is all. So I'm going to have a wander down to a little stream that there should be down at the bottom of this hill. I'm kind of up on the top of a hill at the moment, and down at the bottom of that hill there's a small stream and a ford. Now I'm hoping, because obviously it's just been so dry all summer long, I know we've had a little bit of rain recently, but you know, it hasn't really probably made up for the long months of it being dry, so I'm hoping there's water in it. If not, I'm going to walk back up to the village of Fring, where there's a church, and I'm hoping that there might be an outside tap on the church. Sometimes there is, for people to water flowers and stuff to put on graves, so fingers crossed there'll be a tap if there isn't any water in the ford. I'm going to leave my bag here, so I haven't got to carry that, because to be honest, I've taken it off my shoulders and I really don't want to put it back on again. Not until I have to tomorrow. No, as I feared, nothing. It's just a very vaguely moist bit of soil. Normally this is flowing here, you know, it's a stream. But there you go. So I shall walk back to the church in Fring and see if I've got any, see if I have any joy there. Well, the bad news is that there was no water at the church. But the good news was that a very kind lady filled my water bottle up from her kitchen sink. I went and knocked on the house next door and she filled my bottle up, so that was good. So I've got 1 litre of water now to last me all evening. I was trying to come as light as possible and avoid carrying lots of water. It was a mistake, to be honest. I should have brought 2 or 3 litres with me. The last time I did the Peddars way, I carried three bottles with me, and that was fine. 1 litre just isn't enough. The other good news is that it has started to rain a bit more heavily. I'm obviously in the woods, but the rain is going to permeate through the leaves, through the trees. So I'm going to rig my tarp up in such a way that I can catch that water and keep my bottle filled up that way from rain landing on my tarp. So I just wanted to show you the other stuff that Koigak sent me. Firstly, there's this, which is a thin, almost sort of Pertex protector, which goes on the outside of your under blanket. So your hammock's on the inside, then you've got your insulation, and then this goes and protects the under blanket. So it protects it from wind and moisture, and it's supposed to add a little bit more warmth as well to the whole insulation. So he sent me that, which was just amazingly kind. This is one that he made. And then he also sent me an under blanket. He makes a few bits of kit, and this I believe is a sort of prototype. It's down, and it's a sort of 3/4, but to be honest, it's a very generous 3/4 length. I mean, that's such a generous gift. I don't know what to say really. Thank you. Thank you hugely. I'm really looking forward to trying it out tonight, and it will certainly get plenty of use. Oh, and something else he sent me. He sent me some of these organisers. He actually sent me 3 of these, and they just hang up. I've put a little clip on it so it hangs onto. I've got a tiny little ridge line inside my hammock as well for hanging stuff up on, and that just clips on there, and it's somewhere for you to put your phone or keys or whatever, things that you don't want to kind of slip underneath you while you're asleep. There are pockets in my hammock, but to be honest, they're not brilliant pockets. This is much better if you can have it suspended above your head. It's easy to find stuff. My head torch will probably go in there, so that's great. And it just clips on in there. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, the water collection facility is in effect. We've got the tarp sloping down to one corner. It's propped up here with a walking pole. So it's creating a channel, and it's working. We've got water dripping off the end. It's all focused down to this point, dripping down into a dry bag. I've just been relaxing in the hammock for the last half an hour or so, and it is absolute bliss to take my weight off my feet and just relax. It stopped raining, but I think we are forecast for some more overnight, which will be good. That will hopefully keep my little rain harvester topped up. But I should have enough in there hopefully to certainly help out with dinner anyway. I've got a dehydrated meal for dinner. I made a batch of this with leftover turkey after Christmas, and it's pretty good actually. It's better than it sounds. So it's got turkey, it's got the rice already in it, tomato, peas, spinach, coriander, onion, garlic, ginger, chilli and spices. And then I've got a little reminder on there to make it up to 600 mils. Okay, let's see how much water there is in here. It's quite a bit actually. I don't know whether it's going to be 600 mils, but might not be far off. Okay, I'll just top that up. There we go. Didn't need a lot more. Do the mud jack. Crazy little things. Cheers. It's as good as I remember it. Well folks, it's just gone 10 o'clock and I am knackered. So I'm going to turn in and get some sleep. It's been a good day today. Very lucky with the weather. I was expecting to get wet today. I was expecting to have to put the camera away and, you know, just rely on the GoPro for footage. So really good that that didn't have to happen. So yeah, I'm going to get some sleep and I'll see you in the morning. Good night.